Welcome back to the evening show. Now, I always love a Good Friday, but especially when David Whelehan is here because he always brings me some beautiful wines. And today, not only has he brought me the wine, but he's brought me the winemaker. David, lovely to see you.
Great, Hans, great to be here.
And Dr. Paul Cluver, absolutely wonderful to have you with us.
It's great to be here.
You're all the way from South Africa?
Yes, yes.
Now, you've brought 4 beautiful wines, but first of all, tell me a little bit about the winery in South Africa.
Well, we're in an area called Elgin, which is about 50 miles out of Cape Town, and it's on a plateau, on a sort of highland, which about 400 meters above sea level. And if you look at Table Mountain, then it's often covered by a little bit of cloud, the so-called tablecloth. And that goes together with the southeast trade winds that blow. And we have the same. We get covered by a little bit of tablecloth, sometimes quite a thick cloud level, and that makes us very much cooler than the surrounding areas.
And does that make for good wine growing land then? I know that's probably a very unelegantly way of saying it, but is that the case?
You know, if you go back a long time, then people wanted as much heat as possible to get as much alcohol as possible to make life more pleasant. but it's shifted, and people want more flavor in their wine. They want something that really tastes like something. And with a cooler climate, the aromatic components in the wine are better preserved. They don't just evaporate, they don't disappear. So the cool climate is good for certain varieties, like these that we've got on the table now.
Well, I'm really looking forward to trying them. So I don't know who wants to do the honours.
I'll start doing the honours, and I think it's very important, it's very exciting to say that the Cluver family were actually the pioneers of the area of Elgin, which, as I say, it's a very important cool climate area. And I think in South Africa we've kind of grown up with Stellenbosch, maybe heard a little bit about Franschhoek and Pearl, but Elgin to me is one that we should all be championing. And I say, of all the tastings I've done of late, I really have been impressed by the wines coming out of Elgin. So it's a real, real point of excitement now to actually try these wines here with Paul himself.
With the man himself.
Exactly. So this is the Sauvignon Blanc 2010 vintage.
Well, I think what you'll find in all of these wines is we'd like to think that they are all elegant wines. They're not, they don't come on terribly strongly. But you've got a nice balance of flavors, and a wine that goes very nicely with your fish things and so on. It's a very nice wine to drink.
It is absolutely. It's really, really intense. It's exhilarating. I mean, it's mouth-wateringly fresh and wonderful acidity, and it's so exuberant on the palate, doesn't it? Just exudes flavour. So
oh, that's beautiful, because I'm not, every time you come on, David, I say I'm not a big white wine drinker, because I find that sometimes it just leaves a real bitter aftertaste, but that's just beautiful, and elegant really is a great word to describe that.
I think elegant and balanced with, and it hasn't got a sort of sharpness about it. It's easy, it's round and smooth, and and you have some sort of little bit of gooseberry flavour in it and so on.
Yes, citrus and a little bit of tropical going on there, and it really is. It's like a wonderful marriage of the best of the old world.
I'll take that, because we've so many glasses here.
And the new world. So you've got, and just there's a wonderful freshness there, lovely intensity. So as you allude to, with food, perfect match.
Beautiful. Have we another white?
We have another white, and this is the Chardonnay, which perhaps is the white wine the estate is most famed for, and it's picked up quite a lot of accolades worldwide for it. And I know Chardonnay has become a little bit less popular, sadly, and everyone's got fixated with Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Grigio, and I think that is a little bit of a mistake, because I think when you experience a good Chardonnay, it really is one of the great wine experiences, and arguably the Chardonnay and the Riesling grapes are the 2 great white wine grapes of the world. So here we have the Chardonnay 2008 vintage.
I think why people have been put off a bit by Chardonnay is because in some cases the wood has been overdone, and you get a sort of a slightly yellowy, very woody tasting wine. Now here this has been fermented in wooden barrels, and been in the barrel for 9 months, but it's all fermented with natural yeast. There's no yeast added, which means that the process is very slow and cool, and that gives you a completely different wine. So you'll see if you taste it. It's again, there's an elegance, there's a balance, and the wood contributes, but it's not overpowering.
Well, it's absolutely spectacular, and and once again, it's definitely referencing back to Burgundy. So lovely minerality in the wine. I mean, there's none of those kind of overly ripe tropical fruit aromas or flavours. It's really balanced, elegant, lovely mineral note there as well. So once again, a great wine. I mean, great capability to actually age. So I mean, this is really good, like good coat de bone, isn't it? Good classic coat de bone. It's just delicious, racing acidity there. So delightful.
Absolutely.
How'd you find that one?
Absolutely beautiful. I have to say, again, as a non-white drinker, beautiful white wines. I mean, it's so hard to find a white that just is so light on the palate and
and I think it is important to point out that these are premium wines from a premium estate. So the Chardonnay is retailing roughly €17.99, but if this was from the Côte de Beaune, from Burgundy, it definitely would be 30, 35, 40 euros, that kind of range for sure.
Okay, we'll pass over the glasses and we'll go for red. And I'm really looking forward to this because, as I said, I am more of a red wine drinker.
And because it's cool climate area, once again we're looking at the Pinot Noir, because the Pinot Noir likes a cooler climate. And once again, we're very much staying with the classic Burgundy grapes. In fact, Sauvignon Blanc is up in the northern part of Burgundy, which is not classic of Burgundy, but Burgundy is all about Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So here's the great Pinot Noir.
Beautiful glasses, I'll have to say.
These are the retail glasses specifically designed for Pinot Noir, which Paul very kindly brought along with him to attenuate the aroma, the flavours. Exactly. So we're getting the full experience, the full monty.
So Paul, tell us a little bit about this one then.
Well, Pinot Noir is the most difficult of all wines to make, and it's a difficult grape to grow, and it really only does well in certain specially selected places. And when we went into growing grapes and researched the climate and so on, then our climate during ripening is actually nearly identical to that in Beaune. And that is one of the reasons why we've decided to go with Pinot Noir. And there's the winemaker. We've got this family business, really family in the sense that we have 4 children involved in the business and a son-in-law. So the son-in-law is the winemaker, which is an enormous advantage, because winemakers, when they get good, they tend to move on, like cooks in a restaurant. Okay, but in this case, we've got him kind of
hooked in.
Trapped, so he can't move, or at least not easily. And he's quite passionate about Pinot Noir, passionate about wine. And in fact, I was quite concerned that his passion about wine is so great that I wouldn't have any grandchildren. But he did manage 2 children.
Well, I have to say that's beautiful, because one of the things I like about Pinot Noir is the fact that it's not as full-bodied as some of the other grapes, but it's beautifully refreshing, even though it is a red wine.
No, it's very elegant. I mean, there's a classic theme running through all these
elegance,
and whatever. And also complexity. So these are very serious wines, and I love the reference to Beaune, because this to me is exactly how I'm reading the wines as well. These are really like manifestations of what you'd experience in the best of the representations from Beaune themselves. Lovely bright acidity, bright fruit, just tantalising the palate, and just delightful.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we're going to run out of time purely because you have so much to say about each one, but I don't want to let you go without tasting the last one.
The sweet wine. And
which is the sweet wine.
And just not that we're promoting wine for good health or whatever, but there's quite an interesting studies that have continuously proved that red wine in moderation is actually good for you. So I'm emphasising the moderation. But Dr. Paul was just saying to me just before he came in here that there's actually a higher component of the good component in Pinot Noir.
Oh, really?
Because the audience might appreciate that Dr. Paul is actually a neurosurgeon as well.
In his spare time.
In his spare time. So, well versed in
not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Difficult to do that in your spare time.
Absolutely. But it's fair to say that red wine needs good fuel moderation. Would that be a fair?
Yes.
In moderation.
In moderation. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this particular sweet. It's a sweet wine.
It's a sweet wine. So, and it's very famous. In fact, all these wines, the Chardonnay, the Pinot Noir, I mean, they're all famous wines. This one wins trophies all over the world. And the beauty of a sweet wine.
Well, this is a so-called noble late harvest. So these are from grapes that have turned into raisins as a result of botrytis. And what it does, it concentrates the flavors. It also concentrates the acid. So what's not nice in sweet wines is if it's just sweet, but there's no balance in it. But here you have a great acid and sweet balance. So it's not cloy, it's nice to drink. It finishes beautifully.
It's almost like drinking, to me, just liquid honey, just absolutely beautiful.
But what washes in behind that though is like wonderful lemon juice as well, but not harsh lemon juice, and just balance it out. So you're, as Paul alludes to there, there's no sweetness in the palate, but just this explosion of ripe fruit flavours, and then it's just an amazing balance. And that's what you aspire to in a great sweet wine, is that sugar and acid balance, and it's absolutely perfect here.
Super. I have to say, a real clean sweep, beautiful wines, Paul, so thank you so much for being with us. And you have one last point, David.
The one last point is go out and try and find these wines as best you can. As I say, they really are, and I encourage people to go over and experience the wines of South Africa. If you're planning any trips, if that's anyway on the calendar, I'm not sure if it's on anybody's Irish radar at the moment, but if it is, do look into Elgin. As I say, wonderful wines, and it is the hot, I should say it's the cool up and coming area rather than the hot, cool area, so to speak. So it's a very exciting area. I'm very excited about Elgin.
And come and visit.
Come and visit. I absolutely will. And thank you so much for being with us and for showing us such a wonderful array of wines. Absolutely lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So there you go. Absolutely beautiful wines yet again from David, and wonderful to have Dr. Paul here with us. And if you are planning a trip to South Africa, make sure you check out the Elgin region. But that's all we have time for on tonight's programme. Jimmy is back on Monday. He will be here at 7, repeated at 9. Do join in then. But until then, have a lovely weekend. Make sure you get a nice glass of wine over the weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday. See you then. Bye-bye.